Hello, I'm Jordan.
I'm Jake.
Jack.
I'm Will.
Okay.
And we are band together. I, like many other girls, wear hair ties around my wrist throughout the day to avoid losing them before my after-school activities or sports, or going to the gym. And one day in English class, I experienced pain around my wrist, and it was my new hair tie that was limiting my circulation, and it left a ring around my hand. So I thought that there had to be a way to avoid the discomfort of the marks left on your wrist.
Our solution is ABS plastic hair tie with a groove in it where the hair tie will sit, elevating the hair tie from your skin and eliminating the uncomfortable marks left behind.
So our direct competitors are Bittersweet by Marie Shereen and Ashley Bridget bracelets. Both of these companies make a similar product where they have a bracelet that elevates the hair tie. But both are incredibly expensive. The Bittersweet bracelets ranging anywhere from $45 to $120 just for one bracelet. Our indirect competitors are softer hair ties. They're made of like a looser fabric or like a scrunchie. But those oftentimes lack in holding up the hair and are just less effective in general, and can also, and the size of the scrunchies can get in the way of like wearing a long sleeve.
And I'm sure all you gentlemen tested it.
Oh, yeah. That's
Just checking.
If you come in with
Can
braids, no.
So how we plan to differ our company from our competitors starts with that we are 78% less expensive. This is considering that their cheapest metal bracelet starts at $45 per bracelet, and our set price is at $9.99 per bracelet. We also have a convenient factor. We're hoping to get involved with big box retailers such as Walgreens and Walmart so that they can place our accessory near the hair ties that they sell in their stores, so it's kind of a quick grab and go low price, whereas with our competitors it's more of a formal, expensive purchase online because their products are not sold in like frequently visited stores. And lastly, we're in the process of pairing up with Locks of Love to give 10% of proceeds of each bracelet to support their cause.
All right, based on our process, problem interview process, we've discovered that there are a wide range variety of customers, and those being girls aged from 15 to 25. Between those markets, they get split in half, and 50% of them are high school girls, and 50% of them are college girls.
We chose those two markets through our problem interviews. We conducted 48 interviews, and through those interviews we started with our overarching question of what girls do with their hair ties when they're not serving the purpose of holding up the hair. And we had 92% of them do put it around their wrist, others do put it around their water bottle. Then next, branching off, we asked if they had the issue of marks being left around, and 100% of the girls did say that marks were left from their hair ties, but 57% of the 100% said that it did bother them.
I'm sorry, how many surveys?
48.
Thank you.
So our total addressable market is just above $33 million. We got that number because we took the population of girls ages 15 to 25 in the United States and put an income filter on of household income of $100,000 or more. We also had a frequency of purchase of them purchasing 2 per year at $9.99 a piece. Our total serviceable market was just above $1 million. We have that because we narrowed down the geographical location, so it's more focused on surrounding areas. Chicagoland, not so much the whole spectrum of the United States. And our market share is 1.4%. We got that number because our total serviceable market consisted of 51,000 people, and we hope to reach out to 3,500 of those people. Of those people, we want to have a 20% conversion rate, which led us to 700 customers, and 700 of the 51,000 is 1.4%.
All right, now for financials. So in year one, we plan to sell 1,400 bracelets, which will give us a revenue of just under $14,000. And then we'll get a net profit of just over $1,200. And then by year 5, we plan to grow and sell 60,000 bracelets, which will give us a revenue of $587,000. And we plan to net just over $104,000. So the reason for this growth is in year one, we're just selling off our website, and we're really trying to hit like local Chicagoland areas like Jordan mentioned, and local retailers. And then in year three, we really plan to branch out to go to big box retailers such as Target, Walgreens, CVS, and of course, as Jordan mentioned earlier, we want them to be placed next to the hair tie bracelet so people see them and get them, kind of like an impulse buy in a way. Okay, go back. Okay, now for our price for our product, it cost us $2.76 to make them, and $1 of that goes to charity. And then, so of the $1.76 it takes to actually make the physical product, about 50 cents of that is materials, which is the ABS plastic, and then the other $1.26 is actually a lot of shipping between us and the manufacturer, and packaging cost, because you want it to look good on the shelf so people see it and buy it. And we plan to price it at $9.99. We used a mixture of cost plus pricing in the sense that we figured out how much it would take to make it, and we added some so we can make a profit. And then it's also value-based pricing in the sense that we could sell it for $5 and make money on it, but we feel that would be too cheap because people would think it's like not a good product. Yeah, and they would just gloss over it. And then at that price, we will have a gross margin of 72%. And then our sales general and administrative costs in year one are just over $8,100, and most of that's actually like legal fees and insurance, and then our salaries, which in year one we only plan to take $500 a piece just so we make something. Then by year five, we'll all be like 21, 22 years old, so our SG&A goes up significantly with our profits because not only do we have to have more salaries for each of us, we have to have health care and insurance because we're adults then. And then our startup cost, we estimate to be about $9,500. $5,000 of that will be going towards basic legal fees to start the company and securing our brand name and trademarking that. And then about $2,500 of that will be for our startup inventory to produce all 1,400 units for the first year. And that's based off them being $1.76 because the dollar that goes to charity only happens when we sell them. And then the rest of the money will go towards our website design and marketing.
Okay, so for our MVP, we are planning on doing a landing page. On this landing page, they're going to have our CAD design to see our product. We also have the 3D printed prototype. On there, they can click on the button that reads Shop Now. From there, they're going to be brought to another page. On that page, they're going to select which applies to them more, whether they're a customer planning on directly purchasing it for themselves or if they are a
Was this
client.
printed here?
Yes.
Cool.
It's a
Or
little
if
big.
they
It's a little big right now.
Yeah, we had it so it could like slip on easily.
Didn't fit anybody.
So, or they're a client who's a retailer or convenience store who's interested in purchasing from us in bulk to resell. And from there, they'll all be brought to an email page. Basically, that email page is saying you've reached the point. While we're like excited that you're interested, we're still refining our product and finalizing everything. So leave us your email to be the first updated on where we're at and to give input. To get people to drag them to our landing page, we have an Instagram account and a Facebook page. Both of those, there's going to be access to the landing page or a way to draw them in. On Instagram, it's going to be the link in the bio, and on the Facebook page, there's a button that says Shop Now, which will bring them to the website to get the landing page. So what we're asking to complete our MVP is $500. That includes our CAD design, which we will need to be sending off to manufacturers to produce our product. The printing of our 3D prototype, our web design so that it looks slightly fairly professional and have our own domain name. Our website tracking and maintenance, that's going to help us keep track of our key metrics such as the number of emails collected, how many customers versus clients, and how many visits on our main page overall. Also our promotions on Facebook and Instagram, it does cost money to get your page promoted, so we're going to use that for marketing, and our graphic design for our logo. We're going to want our graphic design because we want to familiarize people who are truly interested in our project with brand and name, and we think a logo will be perfect for them to remember us by. Thank you for your time and consideration. We are band together.
Interesting problem. I didn't know that it is a problem. I didn't know I had, but it is a problem. But I think my suggestion is that you're really jumping way too fast to CAD in production, that you haven't really validated, is this particular solution to the problem really a marketable idea? Because the sample you have here, I would never wear that. I don't know if, I think you need to see, is it something that someone would wear? Are they really going to buy 2 a year? It only holds one band. Do you really need to spend $10 to hold one band that you could just put on your water bottle? So I'm not convinced that the cost of the solution has been validated enough before you go to the next step of production. So, and maybe I'm completely wrong, so if you have, in your market research, have more answers to that, I'd like to hear it. Otherwise, I'd like to see you spend your MVP money on validating this particular design. I'd like to see it in a size that actually fits, and that it can be stretched over, and that someone is attractive enough that someone would actually wear it, and that it has got functional use. So anyways, that's my initial
And let's assume that you solve that. You find something that women would wear that is comfortable and stylish. I would encourage you, as you explore an MVP, to validate 2 motivations. One you have is somebody's going to buy it because it's less expensive than the competitor, right? The other is someone's going to buy it because $1 is going to charity. Those are 2 very different buying motivations. Somebody's going to buy one of it because they care, they want to do something for a cause. Somebody else is going to do it because, oh, it's cheap. And I wouldn't mix up those 2 unique propositions. In fact, there's a third one out there of style and fashion, which in at least all apparel, women's and men's apparel, it's unexplainable why one purse can cost $40 and another purse can cost $4,000. It's an unexplainable.
It's a mystery of the universe.
It's the mystery of the universe. So people buy it because of a statement, and because they have it, because it's cool, because it just defines himself or whatever. Those are things you have to find out in this MVP that are really, really critical. But I agree, plastic is probably the last thing someone's going to want to put on their wrist, because if it's uncomfortable, I don't care what it.
Yeah, actually, my first thought when you presented it, it's funny, the problem I have is I have cats that love those hair ties. They love to play with them, but they're dangerous if they chew on them or get caught in their throat. So I'm always looking to hide it. If I could store, I'm thinking of a different use case than just one. If I could put 4 or 5 of them and store them in a safe place. Underneath, yeah. And then it became a cat toy. But as far as actually being something that I would wear on my wrist, I know I'm not the age market for you guys, but I still think that you would want to evaluate the different use cases and how you're actually going about solving the problem.
I think.
And rubber bands, I thought too, I mean, you get rubber bands, I have to keep those away from pets. And it's not just cats, it's dogs. You want to hide things that could get caught in their throat, and young children. So it's an interesting concept, thinking bigger than just a hairband. It's like those stretchy things that you want to store in a safe place, or in a way that can be.
I have to ask a stupid question. Is the piece of plastic is not what you put on your hair, right?
No, it's the black tie.
For what? Seriously?
Not having hair, it's not an issue for me.
But I do applaud the 48 interviews that you all have conducted already. What was the whole quest of those 48 interviews? What was the main piece of information you were after?
The main piece was whether, if they had the issue or not. We did a lot of it over Google survey, like Google form.
Okay.
It wasn't all in person.
Okay.
But yeah, the main thing we were after was.
Okay. And then did you do follow-up interviews with your 3D printed
Yeah, we actually just got that this morning. We had a lot of trouble with 3D printing machine broke.
Okay,
It was a pain.
To do follow-up interviews in person, where you can show that, might reveal more information for you guys rather than just a Google search survey. Because to build on a comment that Michael had said, this has got the potential to be a really amazing impulse item if it is cute, interesting, quirky, whatever, but it's got to really grab someone's attention in the nicest,
So
coolest
it
fashion.
does sound like you validated the problem.
Exactly.
That's why we separate problem interviews and
Customer
solution interviews. So now you have to do some work on what that exact solution is, but you've identified 48 people, 92% said it's a problem, and some of them have marks, some of them don't care of the marks, but.
Yeah.
Now I was thinking what you had on your other arm,
Is that your hair tie?
This is my
For after
direct
school.
competitor.
yeah, you're wearing your competitor on there,
Yeah.
so that's interesting. Does it have a mark right now?
I do.
It does.
Yeah.
Okay, so, yeah, I think you gotta work on your solution.
You have to get smaller wrists.
Yeah, I know, they're just way too big.
She's an athlete. But just a thought also is your goal of getting at the big box places and the placement, that point of purchase that you're after, that's gonna cost a lot of money, and you're going to have needed demonstrated traction and proof to even have Walmart even consider
And
that.
that's where we're waiting until year 3 to start doing that. so we can
You're gonna be out of business before you can even wait till year 3. So once you get more interviews and solution interviews conducted, think smaller so that you can demonstrate traction. Think of your local hair salons that would be willing to put it at the cash register, because that's where girls are getting their hair done, right? Think of the specialty sports shops that are smaller, not the big Dicks, but Dick Ponds. Those are the places to think about, where they're run by smaller franchisee mom and pops, that someone who's getting their new pair of shoes for their running team might say, hey, I could use one of these too. Just a thought for down the road.
How much does it cost for you guys to do another 3D say a model that might fit and have some?
So it costs it's like they're really cheap to actually print off, but it's the time it takes me and like somebody else that knows how to use CAD to sit down and do it. So I think this one costs us about, was it $70 total to do it? Yeah, it's like a little less, it's right around there.
I would think something like a stainless steel or that was thin, something like a piece of jewelry might be something you explore, and you can't do a
Like a
prototype with that, but you can at least do a rendering and talk about it and just show that as a photo of it. You got to experiment a lot with product here, you guys, a lot with what the solution's going to look like, whether it's price, whether it's
materials.
whether I'm giving away stuff because I want to donate the charitable contribution part of it, or whether it's style. It's
A lot of factors.
So for their MVP, I think we're all agreeing, probably need to come back I would suggest, with a plan to actually validate the solution itself, rather than the jumping to production and whether it sells that way. There might be a bunch of different ways, they say, to validate the solution, the price point. I don't know what do you suggest?
trying to think of a good way to do that.
That they,
Um,
you need the actual item, I think, or.
So you could just go out and borrow a really great piece of jewelry and a bracelet and put an arm around it, take a photo of it, and that's your product, and then give the jewelry back to the person. And I mean, that's the way that, did you guys study the Zappos MVP in this class? Zappos shoes? I mean, they literally just bought shoes and then took the photo and returned the shoes. So that you could do a Zappos type thing with a bunch of different features, one of it being, like even those rubber bands that people, what if Livestrong had, Livestrong or Lance Armstrong's thing?
That's what I was just thinking. Add those with the bands on,
Band over it.
or get some Pandora bracelets,
Pandora.
and
Do the plastic one too. Maybe we're all maybe we're way
Although
off.
Yeah, but it still needs a lot of touch-up, so we understand.
Yeah, the CAD design, that's like our first prototype rough draft, that's why it's like huge. I wanted to make sure it could, like, I was afraid to be too small, so I guess I made it like way too big.
But
Well,
you-
even if it was to scale, I mean, and no one will know it's not to scale if you
Right.
photo it the right way.
Right.
But there might be, to build upon Michael's idea though, go to a Marie Claire where they've got a gazillion and one different bracelets and buy 5, for 99 cents, a couple bucks a piece, and then wrap the hair bracelet around it. So you can get reactions to potentially different solutions without doing such a huge investment in time and
The other thing
resources.
that you could do with this is consider yourself a website that reviews different hair clips. Do the traditional ones, do the ones you have, do the hair clips, do your product in there, and write reviews, the pluses and minuses of all these things, and go out to people and ask them, hey, what do you think? This one leaves a mark, but it's only $10. This one is stylish, and what would you think is your best hair review? And try to build consensus around what people think, and then develop your product from that information. Does that make?
Yes.
Yeah, great clues that way.
All right, so
back on the
MVP,
slide, yeah.
maybe we leave this one. How much time do we have left?
20 seconds.
Oh, great.
Back on the slide.
How about like
You got some time after this.
$100?
How about if you rethink it, go to Hogs, and Hogs will work with us and we'll say yes or no. Is that all right?
Okay.
Is that fair enough?
Yes.
Okay.
Great, thank you.